But I think that car is a carrier to save your energy on food. I just believe so. Car is car, and it is not a recreational car. Okay, it's just a sedan. So if you want to integrate so many strange functions into a car, I think it is completely unnecessary. And for those Chinese electric vehicle producers, they want to make it more than a car. They want to make it as a space for individual. And in some specific cases, its life function has already surpassed its industrial function. And I believe that is acceptable because we all know that there are costs and budgets for the car. If the cost is lower and the cost is used to other parts which is irrelevant to the car, it may cause or may lead to some poorly built chassis or some chassis or it may affect chassis thickness, and its material will be impacted, its linkage and its connecting rods. They will adopt some lower quantity material for those key components, and that is all I want to say, that I am pessimistic about Jingdong's new cars. We have our budget for car buying and we have to afford it. If the money goes to some useless function and which did not belong to the car, are you happy with that? But when it comes to me, I will not accept such extra functions. And for some foreign famous brands, they really have no plan to integrate so many functions into one car, and they only pay attention to its safety and driving. But we are giving more attention to its life scenario and entertainment scenario. So if we pay much more attention to those extra demands, it will push up the costs for extra demand, but the budget and costs have already been set. So if we want to give extra functions to the original vehicle, its original or basic demands will be reduced and lower, and there's no doubt for that. If the quantity is impacted, no matter how beautiful its appearance is, I think that does not make any sense, and that is not the point. When it encounters some car accident, okay, it shows that its chassis, its protection is so weak and so fragile, even it could not save driver's life. All of them are caused by the low quantity material and some shifted costs. So we have to mention about the latest Xiaomi's car accident. No matter it is driving or drunk driving or serious hitting or overspeeding, all of them are not any excuse for its fragile, its low quantity, for its failure in opening the door. That is not an excuse. I think that is the deficiency in the designing and its function. So the cost is curtailed. It must lead to low quantity. That is my thought. And as to its directors or managers to those ambitious companies, okay, they just make some good examples for resources integration and they are very good at it. Maybe they can add some extra functions, but in my opinion, iteration or upgrades are available for cell phone or some apps, but that is not for a vehicle because I think it is still dangerous driving a machine. That is my thought. Because that is the point one. The point two is that they believe we make some update, we make some iteration, or we give you some extra functions. It makes the car more eye-catching, more attractive, and it will finally push up the sales volume, and that is what they are thinking about. They just think it in the way of businessmen, but some foreign successful car makers think it as an engineer. They think it from the engineer perspective, and that is more reliable and more responsible. Both Xiaomi and Jingdong, they have already expanded their footprint in electric vehicle industry. So it makes people think that is it quite easy to produce a car just by establishing some partnership or cooperation with time owner or experienced car makers, just like Guangzhou Automobile or CATL. And is it quite simple to produce electric vehicle? We can just integrate a share chassis, battery pack into one vehicle. I guess they think it too much, and okay, we make a car and give some specific designing demands to it, and we can make it more attractive, more beautiful, and I believe it is not that easy and it will not go far. When it comes to the traditional car making, okay, it has to make some preparation works, and we have to give some demand to make a cooperation and to pay attention to the match among all components, and it covers costs and designs. That is for traditional car. But when it comes to electric vehicle, I think we have to follow the same rules, and we have to learn it from the traditional industry, and maybe some starters are capable of integration, and their integration is outstanding. But we still have to learn it from the gasoline vehicles or some foreign famous brand and their successful stories. By the way, I have to mention about the C919 aircraft. I really do not believe it has a promising business outlook, but I want to see that if China could really integrate all components into one and make the aircraft fly, and so far there are only some claims to the whole company, and there is no flying accident, and the aircraft is not falling down. Without failing, I think that capability is wonderful and fantastic. It could really prove our achievement and our capability. But when it comes to car, of course it cannot be compared with a car. And such fast integration or fast resources integration, it is quite easy to neglect some key component matching, or we really have to design the car fitting for some extreme conditions. And we have to think about it. If we want to drive a car, we really have to make it safe. Saving a cost is one thing, but human life really matters. When we are making an electric vehicle, we have to give full consideration to the extreme conditions and those unseen expectations, and some real or uncommon functions should be remained, and they cannot be removed for cost saving, and at some critical time it will really save your life. Just like Xiaomi YU7, the door cannot be opened outside because its mechanical function was removed. That is a good case in point. And some people may argue that the car has already reached the national standards. But I want to say that the national standards are the lowest norms, and we have to set the norms higher, even much higher than the national standards. And because the human life matters, we cannot rely on the AI driving. And we have already learned more lessons from the former car accidents. It has already killed so many drivers and passengers in the history, and I do not believe something can be cheap and wonderful. I think they are contradictory, and if we want to make it, we just do it at necessary costs, and we cannot just remove some real and some unused functions at random because we will pay for it. And when it comes to Jingdong's vehicle producing in next month, I want to say, okay, good luck. I hope you can make a better car and affordable car, and I'm quite open to it. But I think that your integration should be human prioritized, and you have to give more attention to the security, and that is all. Thank you. Welcome to Frank's talk show. Thank you very much.